Hi, welcome to my issue analysis of the Zoo Story presentation. So my name is Davatorik Akbar. So today I'm going to presenting to you two quotation from both Jerry and Peter perspective that reflect to the issue in the story. But before I do that, I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis and a better insight who these characters are as I go through my presentation so you can understand it better. Okay, so the first character is Peter. So Peter has a wife and two children and also two parakeets. If you don't know what it is, it's a bird, and he's living in exclusive area in New York. But however, Jerry is the opposite of Peter. Jerry is careless man. He's very careless with how he come off to another people, and he has no form of families, so he has no wife and no children. So and he is an outcast of society because he was once homosexual, and around that time homosexual were not accepted in society. So this is the synopsis. So Peter and Jerry meet on a park bench in New York City, Central Park. So Peter is wealthy publishing executive with a wife, two daughters, and two parakeets. Jerry is an isolated man, disheartened man, and desperate to have meaningful conversation with another human being. He intrudes on Peter's peaceful day by interrogating him and forcing him to listen to the stories about his life and the reason behind his visit to the zoo. So the action is linear and unfolding in front of the audience in real time. So the element of ironic humor and unrelenting dramatic suspense are brought to a climax when Jerry brings his victim down to his own savage level. Eventually, Peter has had enough of his strange companion and tries to leave. But Jerry begins to pushing Peter off the bench and challenge him to fight for his territory. Unexpectedly, Jerry pulled a knife on Peter and then dropped it as initiative to for Peter to grab. When Peter held the knife, Jerry charged him and implies himself on the knife. Bleeding on the park bench, Jerry finished his zoo story by bringing it into the immediate present and saying, "Could I have planned all this? No, no, I couldn't have, but I think I did." Horrified, Peter ran away from Jerry, whose dying word, and saying, "Oh my God, our companion are a combination of scornful mimicry and supplication." And this first quotation is from Jerry's perspective. Around the end of the books, this is the beginning where Peter and Jerry began to fighting over the bench, and Jerry kind of irritated with Peter and saying, "So you have everything in the world you want. You have told me about your home and your family and your own little zoo. You have everything. And now you want this bench? Are this the thing men fight for? Tell me, Peter, is this bench, this iron, and this wood, is this your honor? Is this the things in the world you do fight for? Can you think of anything more absurd?" So, in this scene, you can tell Jerry is pretty jealous for Peter's stability and comfort. The way he talk and scold Peter is kind of show that sense of jealousy. So maybe because he doesn't have the perfect lifestyle that the most people want. Then throughout the scene, you can tell that there is a sense of animosity toward Peters. Jerry is kind of feel as Peter ungrateful for what he has, and I think Jerry is also having this kind of tone of animosity. And I'm wondering what that bench means to Peter. Why you willing to pick a fight for a bench? And then I realized that it was kind of stability and comfort that he yearned for. So let's move on to the second quotation from Peter. And he kind of yelling to Jerry and saying, I've come here for years. I have hour of great pleasure, great satisfaction right here, and that's important to a man. So this was a shocking scene because it's actually reveal a lot about Peter, that he doesn't live this perfect life that Jerry perceived him to live, and he doesn't find the comfort, civility in the life he's living. And I think this bench kind of serves as the comfort for him. He goes here to get away from his reality and all the assumption that Jerry has completely incorrect. So as you saw, Jerry is kind of perceive Peter as a man who has this perfect lifestyle and a perfect family with a wife and two children and also quite wealthy. And I think Jerry ends up having an assumption that Peter is ungrateful for what he has. But in the reality, Peter doesn't have this perfect lifestyle. It's not that he's ungrateful, it's just how he actually feel. He doesn't enjoy it, right? Even though he has all of these things that the most people want. So don't judge book by its cover, okay? And the grass is not always greener in the other side. So that's all for my presentation. Hope you enjoy it and thank you for your attention. See you.